Okay, so I'm going to show you how to render this car up a little bit. Now, since the last video, I just drew the lights on the front, which I just did in a very similar way to drawing on the back. I'm going to show you an easy way to create a windscreen in here, and I also need to create a window in here. So we're going to start working with layers in this video quite a lot. So I'm going to keep all my layers that I'm going to render down the bottom here, and you'll see why it's quite important to work with my layers, and the only things that I want on the layers are the final surfaces. So I'm going to make a copy of this now because I'm going to start splitting it. So I'm going to keep the solid, so I'm going to just copy the object to that layer. So that layer is turned off, so if I turn off car body flat and I turn on default, I've got a copy of it there, and I've also got a copy of it here. Now this is going to be important because we're going to destroy this as a solid in order that we can render it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to explode this, which will take it from being one poly surface into lots of little surfaces. So we hit explode, which is that little exploding looking button there. So now I've got, down the bottom here it says I've got 62 surfaces. So each one of these is a different surface. I don't want this whole thing to be glass. I want the glass to be here, and I'm going to have a back window as well, a small back window. So similarly to how I showed you how to project a curve, you can also what's called extract an isocurve. So this allows you to get a curve from a surface. So we click this one, we click the surface that we want to work with, and immediately it starts to give you a line like this. Yours might be the other way. Okay, T for toggle changes the direction. Right, so we want the window to be quite down near the bottom here, and just looking at the side of the car, I reckon we want the window to go up to about there. Alright, T for toggle, and then I decide how wide I'm going to make my front window. So I'm going to make it almost out to the edge. Now I'm not going to do that over here because I wouldn't get the exact same distance. I could get close, but I wouldn't get the same. So I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to mirror this object across to the other side. So mirror, midpoint. Alright, so now we have the lines across here. Now I'm going to split the surface in a minute, but before I split the surface I want to make it so that these lines that I've got here are neatly cut around the edge of the shape. So to do that I'm going to do fillet, and I'm going to make the radius 0. So now I click my first curve and then my second curve, and because the radius is 0, that corner is just a sharp point. I expect that you have to create it in this way. I don't think that you could put a oops, what's happened? I'll try and put a radius in there, but I don't think it will let me because this curve and this curve are not on the same angle, but we'll just see if it does. No, so it won't let you do that. If you wanted to create a curve, it is possible, but you would have to go into more detail and create a poly surface and then curve the edge of it. But we're just going for simplicity at the moment, so we're going to split this object with this curve, this curve, this curve, and this curve. Right, now, new layer, window, windows, and I am going to move it to Windows. I'm going to change the color of my Windows layer so that I can see it nice and easily. Okay, so I have one window there. I need a window on the back and I need the side windows. So I'm going to do that, and I will fast forward the video for you so you don't need to watch that same process again. Okay, to do these side windows, what I've done is I've just drawn in a ever so slightly smaller window frame inside this. I'm going to extrude these lines, and I'm going to extrude them really far so it's nice and easy to see what's going on. Then I'm going to select this surface, and my gosh, if I click there I should get the one on the other side. Split, select these surfaces. Okay, don't want that one, don't want that one. Put this on windows. Okay, alright, so I now have some windows, wheels, tires, etc. So now I'm going to go through and render this very briefly. Okay, so when you click an object, you can click this one, which is the render materials, and you can either add in a material to render it. At the moment it's on use layer material, so if you have worked and you have got all your layers like this, you can then assign materials by the layer. So we're going to turn it on to rendered so you can see what it looks like. So at the moment nothing has material, so it's all white. So tires first, this little dot here, this round circle, is the render material. I'm not sure if it's the same on Windows, but it will probably be somewhere down in this area, or you might need to click across here. But I'm going to click that, and then at the moment it says default material. So if I click add a material, import material from library, I'm going to go for plastic, and I'm going to go for black opaque plastic. Yeah, we're going to go for black opaque plastic. Apply it. So now I have some tires down here. Alright, the rims, I'm going to click this again, add a material, and import from library, and I'm going to find metal. Where's metal? Here. And I'm going to go for satin. I don't want it too glossy. I'm going to put satin aluminium. Apply. Okay, now that should look better than it does. So this is metal, and what it's doing is it's reflecting the environment around it. So at the moment the environment around it is white. You can see all around the car is white, so it will only be reflecting white, which is not what we want. So in here you have environments. Rhino works with environments. If you click this tab, you need to add an environment so that it's reflecting stuff in the environment. So you import from the environment library. You can mess around with this and choose one that's going to be good. I'll just choose a dark Rhino sky. So you can see that now the rim is, if I angle it this way, it's likely to be reflecting the ground. If I angle it up, you can see it's kind of reflecting a clearer bit up the top. So different environments will give you different outcomes. Okay. I'm going to go back to here, which is my layers palette. So my car body flat, which is everything here, I'm going to try and make that a nice white paint. So we can go into paint. We're going to go for gloss paint and sure, ancient white gloss paint. See what it looks like. So this is where you can see that it's reflecting the sky. So you can see across the bonnet here there are some clouds in the sky, in the Rhino default sky, and that's what that gloss white paint is reflecting. It's not a great colour, but it'll do for now. In terms of windows, I don't have anything inside my car, so if I make this clear, so if I go click this one for windows and I add a material here and I choose clear glass, apply, you can see right through the glass. You can see it's got a bit of a reflection, so that it's still reflecting the sky, but you can see right into the car. So I don't want completely clear glass because I don't have any detail on the inside of my car, so I'm going to change this to a slightly opaque glass. Where did glass go? There's glass. Grey glass, light blue glass, plexiglass. Let's try grey glass, see what that looks like. Apply. Maybe we will try a plastic. Sorry if you can hear that, that's a helicopter flying over my house. And we want a transparent, we'll try black transparent plastic, which will be like hopefully a tinted. Okay, so you can see that changed it slightly. And if I click that circle, I can come down here, and then I've got reflectivity and transparency. So at the moment it's 100% transparent. If I drag this down, you can see it becomes less transparent. I probably could have done that with the glass as well. Grey glass. Apply. So glass gives you different options in here. Okay, so I'm just going to go for, I'm going to make this slightly clearer. Oops, that's because I went black and opaque. I wanted black transparent plastic. Apply, and then I have kind of smoky tinted windows. Rear lights will need to be a red plastic. So import from material library, plastic, opaque. We'll try burgundy. Is not really red, but sure. We can make it so it's redder. Apply. So a couple of lights down the back. Gosh knows what colour I'm going to do these that is going to make them look any good. Front lights, we will do a white plastic and see how that looks. White opaque plastic. Okay, so it's just given them a slight bit of reflectivity. Okay, so that's very basic how to render stuff. If you spend more time on this, you can get it looking ultra real. I'll give you a couple of examples of renderings that I've done for other stuff in another video, but you can mess around with materials and stuff for ages in order to get it looking a lot more realistic than it currently is. Cool, let me know if you have any questions.